In Shavasana, allowing your body to drop down, surrendering to gravity. Notice all the places that your body makes contact with the floor. Notice the gaps between you and the floor. So behind the ankles, behind the knees, the lower back, the neck, backs of the shoulders, maybe parts of the wrists, forearms. And see if you can sense just how much space there is between lower back and the floor. Like, could you slide a piece of paper under there, or a Matchbox car, or a tangerine? So really sensing into the curves of your spine, how it waves into and away from the floor. And notice your breath. Notice where your breath creates movement in your body. Notice anything else that's bubbling up to the surface of awareness. Thoughts, emotions, digestive processes, vibrations. Notice what you notice. Let's begin our movement inquiry with what we call the unwinding. So we'll plant one foot, either foot, and we'll take that same side arm out to a T. Let that shoulder and arm be heavy, rocking to the inner edge of the foot that you planted to bring the knee across the midline, and then returning to the starting shape. Go slow here, repeating. You can push off the inner edge of the foot. You could purposely root through the shoulder that the knee is moving away from. If it feels good, you can make this more of a back bend action, moving the spine in toward the front of the body, arching the spine away from the floor. Let's add a rotation of the head, turning the head to look toward the outstretched arm. So knee goes one way, head rotates the other way. Perhaps doing the movement on the inhale to further increase this expansion through the front body, front and sides of the torso too. And then at the end of this one, whenever it is for you, let's swap sides. Foot plants, same side arm is out to a T. Rock to the inner edge of the foot. Try pushing off the inner edge of the foot. Perhaps creating more spinal extension, more back bend action. This is where we're headed today. Focus on preparing here on the floor for spinal extension, aka back bends. So really strengthening the back body. Rotating head opposite. Looking toward outstretched arm if the eyes are open. You might actively root the shoulder down as the knee swings away from it. And as you finish up this one, we'll keep that foot planted and also plant the other foot. So the feet are about hips width apart. And let's interlace the hands underneath the head. So the head is heavy in the cradle of the hands. Our inhale is a back bend through the lower spine and at the same time rooting the arm bones down into the floor. As you exhale, root through the spine into the floor, lift your hands, try to peel your shoulder blades off the floor and squeeze the elbows together. Following your breath, feel the opening away from the midline on the inhale and drawing in toward your midline with the exhale. And whenever you feel inspired, let's add a rotation. With the exhalation, we come across the midline, elbows directed toward one hip or knee. Alternating sides each time you curl up. Articulating through your spine, so really attending to the spine. About one more round, depending on your pace. And then after your second side, you can let the head rest down. We'll keep the right leg as it is. Open left leg out like Baddha Konasana or tree pose, but then try to tuck the left foot underneath the right leg. And we'll take hold, if possible, of the left foot with the right hand. If it's too far away, you can use a belt to create the connection, or you can just have the hand and the foot close to each other. So right hand is holding left foot is underneath the right leg, and right foot is planted with the knee pointing up. And we'll add one more element to this shape, the left arm in cactus. So elbow is bent at 90 degrees or thereabouts, in line with the shoulder. Let's start with just an arm movement here. So this left arm will slide from cactus alongside the ear, stretching toward whatever's behind you. And then slide the arm back to cactus. If you're getting shoulder pinchiness or pain, you can go more wide, like out to a Y, rather than straight up alongside the head like an I. Let's do the movement on the inhale. As you stretch the arm away from you, breathe especially into this left side of the rib basket. And keep the arm really heavy as it slides back to cactus, heavy as you can without kind of getting stuck on your surface. And to this movement, let's add a little reach through the left knee. So what can facilitate that is a little tug on the left foot with the right hand. You're trying to draw the right foot closer to the sitting bones, closer to you, and that'll slide the left knee a little away from you. So we're creating and working this line of stretch through the whole left side, from the knee through the hip all the way up to the left hand. And you can just kind of release that knee reach, the right hand tug as the arm slides back to cactus. Notice if your head wants to go somewhere, you don't need to freeze it in place. You might look toward the overhead reaching arm. It might just stay where it is. You might look down toward right shoulder. But our focus really is this left side expansion. And then one more potential element to add is that unwinding we started with. So we rock to the outer edge of the right foot, and the knee swings over, essentially toward the left leg. And everything returning to that starting shape. When the breath changes direction, if you're coordinating movement with breath. Always feel welcome to pick and choose the elements of the inquiry that resonate with you. It's not all or nothing. And then as you finish up this repetition, let's set up for the other side. Left foot plants. Right leg opens up like Baddha Konasana or like tree pose. And we tuck the right foot underneath the left leg. You could connect left hand to right foot, either directly or with the help of a belt, and right arm into cactus. So let's start with just the arm movement, sliding the right arm along the floor, alongside the ear, and then sliding the arm back to cactus. Go a little wider if the shoulder feels pinchy, or like you're just kind of getting stuck. Tracking sensation. Whenever you feel ready, you can add the right knee. It's not a big movement, but it's kind of reach sliding opposite that overhead reaching arm. And what can help that is a little tug on the foot. So foot tugs towards you as the knee slides away. Head might want to participate with some rotation. And then perhaps adding that unwinding movement, dropping to the inner edge of the left foot. So left knee swings right. Both knees roughly end up pointing in the same direction. Always be open to the pause. The body might want to just stop moving at some point. Just to be, or maybe a little more focus on the breath. So just let that happen. Whenever you feel ready, you can release all together into Shavasana. Practicing presence. Practicing being in the now. Let's try the Baddha Konasana slide. Leg is heavy. Slide the outer edge of your foot along the floor toward the pelvis. And then slide the leg straight again. You can alternate legs. Go slow. We don't want to go so slow that we feel like we're putting ourselves to sleep. Just slow enough so we can really be in the movement without all those sensations passing by unnoticed. So you might in particular notice what's happening through the lower spine. the lower back. Now let's incorporate the unwinding, same movement we started with this Baddha Konasana slide to find the circular flow. So we start the same way, we slide the foot into this Baddha Konasana tree-like shape, and then rock from outer edge of foot all the way to the inner edge of the foot, and then slide the inner edge of the foot along the ground to straighten the leg. Alternating legs. So feeling, if you're able, this kind of circular flow, this circular movement in the hip. Maybe it's not a circle, but roughly. Finding that whole circle or that whole range of motion shape. Sometimes we're eager, we cut corners. Let's try about one more time each side. And then resting here in Shavasana for a moment. What's here now? Okay, so from here you can roll onto your side. You might want to have your belt handy, not for this moment, but for a future moment. So lying on your side, bottom arm is a pillow. Let's start with both arms straight, both legs straight. You can take hold of your top wrist with your bottom hand and tug a little bit, that's it. And then stretch especially through your top leg and push especially through your top heel. Head is heavy. Make sure your jaw is relaxed, your teeth are parted. Release your wrist. Reach back behind you. We'll bend the top leg for sideline hero's pose. You could use a belt to create the connection if you can't reach your foot. So really common here is my default is that I reach for my foot and my rib cage pops forward. So I'm doing this back bend, but let's focus more on the hip flexor, the front of the hip. So bottom of the rib cage drawing toward the back body. You can try stretching your knee away from you, maybe taking the knee a little further back behind you. If it feels better, you can bend your elbow to support your head. Release the foot. Let's move through a dynamic, a spinal undulation, but here on our side. So stretch the arm alongside your ear and stretch the top leg opposite, maybe a little back behind you. Let's make that the inhale shape, and then exhale, top knee and elbow come toward each other out in front of you. That's it. Follow your breath here. Stretching long through the top side of the body on the inhale. And bringing it in on the exhale. Really bringing that top leg behind you as it's available to help stretch not just the hip flexors, but also the abdominal wall. Great, and then one of these next times the knee is out in front of you, we're going to tuck both knees in toward the chest. And now we'll bring both arms out in front. So if the head is comfortable meeting the ground without anything, that's good, but you might feel better putting something underneath your head. We don't want the head hovering. We don't want the neck to have to work here. So arms are out in front of you. Arms are out in front of you, yeah. And then we'll straighten the top leg out in front of you, and you might be able to grab it with both hands. But if that's awkward or out of reach, you can use your belt for the connection. If you have some SI imbalance, it'll be a good idea to not let the foot go all the way to the ground, and a block can help with that. So the thighs in line, the thighs parallel. And then some of you might fold a little deeper, trunk toward leg, to the point where the head rests on the bottom arm. If you want to work a little more, you can squeeze your top thigh and push through the heel and flex the foot. Breathing into the back body. Let's maintain the connection of the bottom hand to the foot so we can twist now. So the top arm is free. We sweep the top arm up toward the ceiling and back behind you. Might get to the floor, might be miles away from the floor. Let's keep moving here in and out of the twist, at least the first few times. Head rolling with the twist. And then after a few times in and out of the twist, you might be enjoying the movement and keeping that going, or you can stay in the twist for a few breaths. Let's come back out of the twist so both arms are out in front of you. And then you can release your connection to the foot and just roll onto your other side. We'll start with our side lying full body stretch. Bottom arm is a pillow. Arms straight, legs straight. Make sure your feet aren't too far out in front of you, so there's no hip hinge here. Tug on your wrist and stretch, especially through top leg. Push through the heel. Head is heavy. Awareness is in the present moment. We'll release the hand clasp, reach back behind you for that top foot, top ankle area. Side lying hero's pose. Notice at the bottom your rib cage spilled forward. Bring it back in toward the back body. Reach through the knee toward the other foot. And maybe knee goes further back behind you. Let's release the foot, side lying spinal undulation. Straighten the leg, bring the arm alongside the ear. Stretch the limbs opposite each other. Your exhale, knee and elbow toward each other out in front of you. You can try bringing that top leg further back behind you without letting the ribs spill forward. Just a couple more times. Flexing and extending the spine. And then one of these next times the knee is out in front of you, tuck the bottom knee in. So knees are curled in toward chest out in front of you. Bring your arms out in front of you. Head resting on the ground or on a blanket, on something. And then we'll straighten the top leg to start opening up the hamstring. Whole back seam of the leg. If you push through the heel, it brings it more into the calf. You might like to tuck your head to rest on your bottom arm. So there's a bit more rounding through the upper body. Directing your breath into the places of most resistance. Let's maintain our connection of the bottom hand with the top foot, maybe including a belt. Top arm reaching up toward the ceiling and back behind you to your twist. Let the head roll with the movement, flowing in and out. Continue enjoying the movement or stay in the twist for some breaths. Gradually coming out of the twist. So the arms are out in front of you. And then from here, you can kind of scoot to lie on your belly with your hands stacked and your forehead resting on your hands. Take your time. Tuck your toes under. Push through your heels. And then slide your hands so you can hold your elbows and press the elbows down into the floor and draw the shoulder blades down the back. Untuck your toes. You could keep your arms in this position and just slide them forward a bit in order to rest forehead on your arms. Breathe into your back. Let's tuck the toes under again. Walk your toes a little closer to your knees. And then walk your elbows back toward you, not directly under the shoulders, a little in front of the shoulders. Root down through the forearms. Drag the navel forward and up, and shoulders down away from the ears. Let the arms slide forward, forehead coming down, untuck your toes to rest. One more time. If you'd like, you can keep the tops of your feet flat on the floor and press into the ground with your feet. Press into the ground with your elbows. You can squeeze glutes and thighs. Strengthening, engaging the back to open the front. The arms slide forward, bring your head down, relax your legs, relax your whole body. Maybe a little shimmy of the hips side to side. Okay, one more time, we'll walk elbows a bit toward the body, and this time try bending the knees so feet are airborne, and then try to evenly press the front of the pelvis and the front of the hips down into the ground. For some of you, it'll work to have knees and feet together. For others, that'll feel crummy. So see if it works for you or it doesn't. And release the feet. Let's slide the elbows apart this time so we can stack the hands and rest the forehead on the hands. From here, slide your hands beneath your shoulders and press your hips back to your heels into child's pose. Option to grab a block in child's pose on the wide, low setting, holding it between the hands. And then kind of sliding the arms a little more forward away from you and bringing the outer borders of the shoulders down toward the ground. Head can be down. Press down a little bit more through the left shoulder, left side of the body. A little more through the right side, just a little shift, really through the shoulder blade, kind of armpit area. Coming back to center, and rise up to all fours. We'll set the block aside. And let's turn the hands so palms face up, fingers point forward. The backs of the hands are on the floor. And not so much pressing down as maybe a little shift forward, just to bring a little stretch into the hands, into the wrists, into the forearms. Flip the hands to their normal setting, hands shoulder width apart, spread through the fingers, and try to evenly root through each finger. We get a little bit of external rotation going here. So this is the inner elbows rotating outward. We don't want to crank it, we just want to find it. And then a little bit of scapular push up here. So letting the shoulder blades draw toward the spine as the chest sinks toward the floor. And then push the floor away, shoulder blades move away from the spine. There's a broadening through the back. So lower back is still, isolating really through the upper back and the shoulder blades. Go back and forth a few times. Great, and then from here, if you've got a blanket on your mat, let's take it off. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Just like in tabletop, really securing through each finger, and particularly the bases of your thumbs and the root of your index fingers. Broadening the shoulder blades away from the spine. Walk your feet up toward your hands. And rise to stand. Okay, we're going to take a short step back with one foot so that when we lower the knee, it's directly underneath the hip. Let's lower the knee not to touch the ground and then rise up. Try that a few times. Knee going straight down, pelvis is neutral. We're not spilling forward. We're not overly tucking under. Right in neutral here. Rooting evenly through the four corners of the front foot. Next time you straighten up, let's step to switch. With the smallish step back, heel is lifted, toes point forward. When you bend the knee, it's right beneath the hip. This knee can come forward past the toes. And just barely make it to the ground here with the knee. Keeping the pelvis in neutral. Sometimes hand in front, hand in back could help keep you in line. Okay, and then at the end of that one, you can step your back foot forward and we'll take a wide stance. Prasarita stance, Prasarita Padottanasana, feet are parallel. That's it. When you're ready, folding forward. And let's bring hands down to the ground. You can bring them to blocks if the ground is far away. Breathing here. Rooting through the four corners of the feet, but then a little more emphasis on the outer edges of the feet. Just a light gathering of shoulder blades toward the spine. If you're able to stay wide here as you come up, do so. If you need to heel toe feet in, come up and then go wide again, you can. So feet stay wide, we're coming all the way up. And now we'll interlace the fingers behind the back, broaden the chest, lift the hands, and fold forward. Squeeze your thighs. Root down through your feet and rise up. Release the hand clasp. Let's take a side angle pose. So we'll turn the right toes out. Bend the right knee until it stacks with the right ankle. You can bring your hand down to a block or your forearm to your thigh. Let's open up first, stretching the arm up toward the ceiling. And then if you like, you can instead take the arm alongside the ear, working this stretch through the whole left side of the body. Root down and reach through your arm to rise up. Pivot your feet for the second side. Left toes turn out. Right toes point towards the long edge of your mat. Side angle. Stacking the knee with the ankle. Forearm can rest on the thigh or a hand coming down to the block. Opening up through the ribs. First stretching the arm up toward the ceiling. And then maybe sweeping the arm alongside the ear. Great, so from here, let's pivot so we can frame the front foot with the hands and step back to plank pose. And let's just be here for a moment. Fingers are spread, rooting evenly through each finger. That's it. Legs are active. One long line of energy. It's common for the head to drop here, so please don't do that. Just a little bit of a chin tuck. And then we lift the back of the head up toward the ceiling. So there's a natural curve in the neck. Push the floor away so you're puffing up between your shoulder blades. For those of you who that's really easy for, you can really puff up. You can soften a little bit between the shoulder blades. From here, lower all the way down onto your belly. Bring your forehead to the mat and your arms alongside your body for a locust pose. Let's have the palms facing down and the thumbs pointing out to the sides. Let's begin by pressing the tops of the feet into the ground and really rooting the pelvis into the ground. Lifting your chest, of course your head's coming along with it. Guiding the shoulder blades a little more toward the spine. Maybe turning the hands so the palms face out and the thumbs point up. Option to lift the legs, keeping them straight. They reach back as they lift up. Lower down, forehead to the mat. Palms can stay down alongside your body. One more time, start by rooting the tops of the feet. Lift your chest. You can dial your hands so the so the palms face out, thumbs point up. You can lift the feet off the ground. If you want, you can bend your knees and reach back for your ankles. Some people like to keep the palms out, thumbs up orientation. It asks more of the shoulders for Dhanurasana bow pose. So we push the shins back to lift and expand the front. You could just have hands the more comfortable way. Release your feet if you grab them. You can organize your arms and your head to just rest here on your belly for a moment. When you're ready to move again, slide your hands beneath your shoulders to press up, all the way up onto your knees and off of your hands. So we're setting up for Ustrasana or camel pose. Either rooting through the tops of the feet with the toes pointing straight back or tucking the toes under. Let's begin with the hands framing the sacrum. Knees might need extra padding. That's it. Drawing the elbows in toward each other. Root down through your knees. You can actively engage the glutes. If they're sleeping, wake them up. Squeeze them in. And then think about going up and back with your torso or your sternum rather than just straight back. So this up and back action. Maybe the hands stay where they are. Maybe they come to the heels. Keep rooting through your knees, gently drawing your hips forward, sternum rising. And then when you're ready, if your hands left your sacrum, they can return, rising up. We'll come right to Dandasana, sitting with legs out in front. Let's just be here for a moment. It's like a seated mountain pose. Brush your spine with breath. Plant your right foot to the outside of your left knee. Ardha Matsyendrasana, this twist is called. Maybe bringing left heel next to outer right hip. Suddenly you're off kilter, unable to root. Leg straight is better option. Okay, you can walk your right hand back behind you. Sweep your left arm up. Rotate through your center. And then either wrap the arm around the leg or hook the elbow. Twisting to your right. Gently unwind. Stretch legs out in front to Dandasana. And now let's plant left foot to the outside of the right knee and possibly bring the right heel next to the outer left hip. Walk your left hand back behind you. Stretch the right arm up, 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 turning from your center, and then either hook the elbow or kind of hook the arm around the leg. Tracking sensation from moment to moment. Gently unwind your spine. Unwind your legs. Stretch them out in front. Reach your hands toward your feet. See if you can keep your heels on the ground. And slowly, with control, lower onto your back. And then whenever you arrive onto your back, you can bring your knees to your chest and reach for your thighs or your feet. In Happy Baby, Ananda Balasana. Feel free to find a little playful movement here. And then when you feel ready, you can release your feet and we'll either set up for a supported bridge or a shoulder stand. So for for supported bridge, we're using a block. Feet are planted. We lift the hips. We'll place the block underneath the sacrum. You have 3 different settings available to you here. Feet can stay on the ground, or legs can stretch up toward the ceiling, or legs can stretch straight along the floor with the heels on the ground. This is more in our back bending theme. Maybe you hold the elbows up around your head, or maybe the arms are just draping, or wider in a T. Staying here for several breaths. You'd rather practice shoulder stand, I recommend a couple of blankets stacked one on top of each other. Yep. Tops of the shoulders just about in line with the top edge of the blanket, so that when you lie down, your head is not on the blankets, and your C7, the most protruding of your neck vertebrae at the bottom, is on the blankets. You'll tend to slide a little bit when you come up, so I err on the side of a little bit more blanket under my neck to prepare. Elbows are in by the sides of the body. We want to try to come up with control, maybe coming into plow first, halasana, feet to the ground. If it's available, you can interlace your hands, stretch your arms straight, hands moving down toward the floor, and kind of working the shoulder blades toward the spine. And then this is shoulder stand, so we really want to feel like we're on the shoulders. So if you're not using any blankets and you feel like you're doing a neck stand, well then blankets would be a good idea. So we really want upper arm bones parallel to each other. Hands could maintain support on the hips or the lower back. I like to kind of set up in plow my shoulders and then a little lean of the hips away from me so that I can walk my hands further up my back and then stretch the legs straight up to Sarvangasana shoulder stand. The tendency is to look up. Try to look down toward the tip of your nose instead. Keep rooting through the upper arm bones into the floor and actively stretching up through your legs. If you're in shoulders or if you're in bridge, you can stretch legs up if your feet were down. You can stay right where you are. If you feel like you need to change, you can shift the block setting. Whatever position you're in, we're focusing on the breath. If you are in shoulder stand, you might like to return to plow, halasana, toes tucked or tops of the feet rooting down, maybe interlacing the fingers, lifting the hips up toward the ceiling, breathing into the sides of the torso. If you're in plow, you might like to try Karna Padasana or ear pressing pose. So we bring the knees toward the ears. And then when you're ready to come out of shoulder stand, your hands can support your hips or they can come to the floor. So you lower with control. If you're in supported bridge, you can remove the block and roll through your spine to come down. If you were using blankets in your shoulder stand, you could carefully roll to your side and remove those. And let's all come back in onto our backs for a little Matsyasana, little fish pose. So hands are palms down. I like them underneath my buttocks, so a little below the sacrum. You could start with feet planted, particularly if this is a new shape for you. Kind of tuck your elbows in underneath you. And then elbows bend as you press the elbows into the ground. You can let your head drop back so the top of the head lightly meets the floor. I'm still keeping most of the weight in my arms. And then maybe you can straighten your legs and send energy through your legs, pointing your feet, pointing your toes. And then just sliding your head, so back of the head meets the ground. Remove your hands out from underneath you. We did quite a bit of back bending today, so you might want to roll a blanket underneath your knees, or you can place a bolster if you've got one under thighs or knees for Shavasana. In Shavasana, if your chin is jutting up toward the ceiling, please put a little support, a blanket under your head, so there's a little bit of a tuck to your chin. If you wear eyeglasses, it's good to remove those during Shavasana. It sends a signal to the brain that it can take a break too. And of course, eyes are closed. Sometimes the eyes are really fluttery and it's hard to keep the eyes closed in Shavasana. What can be helpful is with the eyes closed, directing your gaze downward. That can help to quiet the eyes. Making any other adjustments so you feel comfortable and supported and ready to rest in stillness. Coming back into the river of breath. Gradually reawakening your body with little movements first. And then whenever you feel ready, mindfully, gently rise up to a seat. Okay, just gonna work briefly, very briefly with mudra. This is Abhaya mudra. So we're still working with grounding, root chakra, Muladhara chakra mudras. So this is Abhaya mudra. So you hold your right hand up, just roughly about shoulder level, the elbow relaxed. There's a little cup to the hand. This is a kind of gesture of fearlessness. You relax your shoulder. If you want, you can close your eyes. Notice how it makes you feel, maybe silly, maybe strong, maybe fearless. If you'd like to add an affirmation to kind of increase its power, you could repeat with me silently or aloud. My courage and self-assurance are unwavering. My courage and self-assurance are unwavering. My courage and self-assurance are unwavering. And we can bring hands, palms together in Anjali Mudra at heart center, bowing head to heart and hands with gratitude for this precious human existence. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you.